Welcome to the Pepsi Arena in Albany, New York. It is the 2000 MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Tournament semifinal action with the top seed Fairfield Stags against the 5th seed Siena Saints. Let's take a look at the brackets first of all and tell you how we got to this point. Fairfield routing Canisius in a quarterfinal matchup. Siena with the mild upset over 4th seed Ryder. Loyola and St. Peter's playing earlier. St. Peter's has earned a spot in the MAAC championship game. Good afternoon and welcome. I'm Howard Simon. Tony Resch alongside. Doug Sherman will join us in just a moment. Tony, if we said Fairfield would be at this point, nobody would be surprised. But about a month ago, if we said Siena would be here, I think a lot of people would have been surprised.
Howard, you're talking about two totally different extremes during this season. Fairfield pretty much having their way, only 3 conference losses, whereas Siena just trying to persevere through the season.
Let's talk about a couple of key players. We'll start with Siena, and they rely on a very talented freshman by the name of Gunta Bashko.
Gunta Bashko really has come on very strong. She's not only a threat inside, but outside as well. She's the 3rd leading scorer on the team, and she has scored in double figures 14 times this season.
For the Fairfield Stags, the key player is the best player in the league, Gail Strumpf.
Well, not only in the league, but she's also leading the nation in double-doubles. She has had 22 double-doubles on the season. 20 points and also 12 rebounds for the season.
Let's take a look at the Citizens Communications keys to the game, and we'll start with the lower seed, the Siena Saints.
Well, Siena, they have to make sure that they contain defensively. They also have to make sure they keep Fairfield to 1 opportunity and out because they're so good on the boards. They have to have good ball movement and good ball reversal.
And for the Fairfield Stags?
Well, they have to definitely make sure that they up-tempo the game, but also look to attack the defense and use their inside-outside threat.
Fairfield won it all here 2 years ago. We'll see if they can get back to the final. Starting lineups and the tip in a moment on the MAAC Television Network.
This game is brought to you in part by the Pepsi-Cola Company, the joy of cola. HSBC, your world of financial services. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. Budget, get out of the ordinary with budget. Mazda, get in, be moved. And by the New York Lottery. New York Lotto, will you be ready if it happens to you?
Let's take a look at today's starting lineups brought to you by Citizens Communications. We will start with the home team, but lower seed, Siena Saints. Sasha Baker and Erica Anderson in the backcourt. Gunta Bashko, Colleen Hurden, Bronwyn Tobin, who is all MAAC, up front. For the Fairfield Stags, it's Holly Tapley and Megan Light. Talented freshman Shireen Isadora, Allison Thorne, and the player of the year, Gail Strumpf. Coaching the Fairfield Stags is Diane Nolan, looking for yet another MAAC tournament championship, trying to get back to the MAAC final. You see Diane, who again won it here a couple of years ago, one of her titles at the Fairfield Stags. And on the opposite side, it's Gina Castelli, the coach of the Siena Saints, who took her team to the final last season. You see Diane's record at Fairfield, 356 wins. And Gina Castelli, who is in her 10th season, at Siena. The 3rd member of our broadcast team is Doug Sherman. Let's check in with him. Doug?
Good evening, Howard, and you guys talked about Gunta Bashko as one of the great freshmen in the conference for Siena College. Well, it's really been an infusion of youth that has helped the Saints turn things around a little bit late in the year and now in the postseason. Mary McKissick and Erica Anderson. Anderson, a 2-time MAAC Rookie of the Week on the ladies' side for the Saints, so not terribly surprising they were able to make it into the semifinals, but as you guys have been talking about, Fairfield is a whole different ball game here tonight. Interesting to see how they'll match out.
Well, we'll see how Siena handles it. Thank you, Doug. We see Phyllis Devaney, Pat Sullivan, Angie Sansevero are the officiating crew for this 2nd women's semifinal. Siena in the road, green, trimmed in gold and white, moving left to right in this first half. Quickly to the basket. Sasha Baker doing what she does best, slashing down the middle, but not able to finish that. And here come the Stags in the home white, trimmed in the red and black.
Well, that's exactly what Siena's going to have to do, is make sure that they attack that defense, attack the seams, because Fairfield's probably going to be sitting back in that zone.
First shot of the game for the Stags from Isadora is no good. Yeah, they zoned Gail Strumpf for the most part when they've had to face them in the 2 games this season. Or rather, I'm sorry, Bronwyn Tobin. Fairfield zoned Siena, and we'll probably see that again from the Stags in this matchup. Stags force a turnover. Allison Thorne with it. Off to Holly Tapley, one of the deadly shooters in the MAAC. She was 2nd in 3-point field goals made this season. You give her a little daylight and she'll burn you. Baker out there defensively as Siena opens a man-to-man. Nice tip by Siena, and they steal that one away as Bronwyn Tobin got a hand on that pass down low. Anderson on the wing. Baker again down the middle. This time the dish to Bashko. Can't hit the three. Thorne's got the rebound.
Bashko just a little short on that shot. They can afford to have a little bit more time, utilize that clock a little bit, ball reversal, look to attack the seams. They don't need to be in such a rush to get the shot off.
Tapley threw the double team off the glass a little too hard. Thorne with the offensive board once, twice, and the foul. So Allison Thorne early on, very active on the boards, both sides of the court for Fairfield.
Well, Thorne is a presence inside as well as Strumpf. The thing is she has such a nice size and nice presence inside. She's so strong and she holds her own in there, but does a great job on the boards.
So Allison Thorne, the senior from Queens, New York, goes to the line for a couple of free throws. She is a 59% free throw shooter. This is her first year as a full-time starter. The first one a little short. Well, the Stags, as a team, shooting 66% from the line. That's 7th best in the league. Just ahead of them in the MAAC standings, ironically, Siena at 67%. 0 for 2 as she rims them both front. And a rebounding foul on Fairfield, so the Siena Saints will get the ball back. Siena to put in play. The Saints 9 and 17 for the regular season, but 8 and 10 in the MAAC. They had a brutal non-conference schedule, some tough games, some road games, and it was a very difficult stretch for this Saints team with some young players to go through that. Anderson open for the long-range three, and she's got it. So Erica Anderson showing her exploits as far as a shooter, and Erica Anderson was honored earlier this week with the awards given out on Thursday as she made the all-rookie team along with teammate Gunta Bashko. So 3-0 Saints early on. Tapley trying to get free. Baker sticking to her defensively. Thorne on the far wing. Isadora's jump shot is no good. Tobin grabs the board. Erica Anderson on the far wing. They get it down low for Herden, and she can't get that one to fall. Baker all the way down the middle and puts it up and in.
Well, Siena doing a very nice job, going very strong to the basket. They're trying to get the ball inside, good ball movement, as well as great penetration.
Well, Fairfield, no points in the first 2.5 minutes. There, they get a bucket from the point guard. And Megan Light gets him on the scoreboard. The sophomore from New Jersey in her first season as a starting point guard. And it is 5-2 Saints. Baker has seen some time as a starter off the bench as well. Now back in the starting lineup. Tobin inside with the bucket, and Bronwyn Tobin adds to that lead. She had a monster game last night, a 31-point effort in the quarterfinal win over Ryder. And Fairfield now trailing it 7-2. We'd like to welcome everybody along the Madison Square Garden Network. Welcome to the Pepsi Arena in Albany. It is game number 2 of the women's semifinals. Fairfield and Siena, the Stags the top seed, Siena the 5th seed. We are a little over 3 minutes in, and Fairfield in the home whites trailing Siena 7-4. Howard Simon along with Tony Resch and Doug Sherman as we bring you this matchup. The winner of this game will meet St. Peter's on Sunday for the MAAC championship and the automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. Nice bounce pass to Tapley, who makes the cut to the basket and puts it in.
Well, Tapley with a good backdoor cut, set up her player very well. Actually has a nice pass inside, kind of threaded the needle a little bit.
Holly Tapley second on the team in scoring behind Gail Strumpf. Herden set a nice screen on Strumpf to free up Bashko for a moment. They couldn't get the shot off. Whip it around the far side to Baker. Sasha Baker, second team All-MAAC as a sophomore. This one from the corner from Gunta Bashko.
They're really picking the backside of that zone, getting Strumpf on the backside.
They give her credit for a 3-point basket, and it is 10-6 Siena. Bashko from Latvia. And we were talking to Gina Castelli, the Siena head coach, about her season as they go inside. Gail Strumpf with the reverse, puts it up and in.
It's a good long pass inside, and Strumpf doing a nice job coming down with the ball, and little reverse shot there. Nice job, good body control.
You know, you'd think maybe a freshman would be nervous playing in the MAAC tournament semifinals like Bashko, like Anderson, but she says both those girls have no fear. Bashko has played some very important international games for the Latvian national team, and Anderson's played in some state championship games, so it's just kind of easy for them. 15:31 to go in the first half. We have a break with Siena leading Fairfield 10-8. You're watching the MAAC Television Network. Some of the more dedicated Stags fans making the trip in, paints and all, from Connecticut to see Fairfield. They're trailing Siena early on 10-8. By the way, HSBC is proud to sponsor the HSBC Family section. Tickets and programs for today's game were provided by HSBC, your world of financial services. Well, Fairfield has had a pretty good history when it comes to the MAAC tournament, Tony. They are second best, actually, behind the team we're going to see in the final tomorrow, the St. Peter's Peahens.
Well, they really have had a great season. And actually, it has been a good matchup between these two teams, playing each other very closely throughout the season. One game going into overtime, where Siena lost by 5, and the other one was a 2-point game.
Siena can't get that one to fall. Megan McGonigal in the game now, number 14 for the Saints. Has done a pretty good job defensively against Gail Strumpf this season in those two matchups. Isadora's baseline jumper short. Baker grabs the rebound, and Siena goes back the other way. Herden, in and out. Boschko had the ball, lost it, and the Stags pick it up. Isadora gives to Megan Light. It's been a transition at point guard for Fairfield. For 4 years, Diane Nolan just said, hey, Jen Natal, go ahead, run the team. A 4-year starter at point guard, graduated after last season, and Megan Light had 1 year to learn under her and has stepped in and made a very smooth transition into the role.
Well, that's always a good situation where you can learn. You have that experience. You can sit back. You practice against them every single day. And that just gets you ready and primed for the next season. Just a position to step right into.
Substitution for Fairfield. Elena Sciano checks in. Number 30, a sophomore guard from Cranston, Rhode Island. And Amy Herford, number 33 in white, sophomore from New Zealand. And Mary McKissick, Doug talked about one of the other talented freshmen for Siena. Mary McKissick is in, number 22 from Detroit, Michigan. And McKissick tries to get the steal, or get the ball back rather, can't get it. Tapley goes the other way for Fairfield.
McKissick trying to get the ball inside. She just needed a little bit better angle to get that entry pass in.
Nice first step by Light. Down the lane she goes, but leaves the shot short, and a rebounding foul on Fairfield. Well, the boards will be a factor in this game as well. We really saw what St. Peter's was able to do with boards in that win over Loyola. But rebounding-wise, and we're going to see this last play, rebounding-wise, nobody could do it better than Fairfield this season, Tony. They had a +9 rebound margin. That was the best in the league ahead of St. Peter's.
Yeah, they really did. And Siena, as you could see in the replay there, they did a great job with the position there.
Tapley with the steal and the bucket at the other end. Holly Tapley has 4.
That's why Tapley's so dangerous. She just plays both ends of the floor. She's so smooth. Sometimes you don't even know she's on the court.
Well, what an offseason she had to turn her career around at Fairfield. Really has probably been the biggest surprise to the coaching staff this season. Tobin spots for the 3, can't get it. Quickly the Stags go the other way. Not that Tapley didn't have the ability to have a season like she's had. I mean, Diane Nolan says we knew she was capable of it, but this past off season, she really hit the weights. She played a lot of extra basketball in the summer and came back as almost a totally different player.
Well, you can tell the difference, and the results are speaking for themselves, and that's what a lot of players don't understand. You know, sometimes they just want to be able to walk in and play, but it comes from the practice and it comes from the off season.
Fairfield a little better shooting from the field early on in a 10-10 tie. Ball lost on the baseline, out of bounds it goes. The Stags will get it back. Holly Tapley is a junior out of Maine. She was named to the second team All-MAAC. 13 points, 5 rebounds this season, just behind Gail Strumpf. 20 points, 11 boards for Gail Strumpf. What a phenomenal season she has had. She's getting a little break on the Fairfield bench right now. Down the lane goes Tapley with the left-handed shot, no good. Rebound is blocked. Herford is fouled on the play. Megan McGonigal will get called for her first foul. And that'll be free throw time for Amy Herford.
You can see right there Tapley putting her head down. Good penetration down the lane. Goes up with that left hand. Good job on the rebound as well. Fairfield doing a nice job of attacking the glass.
Amy Herford led the Stags in field goal shooting for her second straight season. Not as good at the foul line. How about this? 63% from the field and a 56% free throw shooter. Go explain that one to me. It's supposed to be easy when you're at the line. Nobody's in your face. Herford hits them both. And she gives the Stags a 2-point lead, 12-10, just over 7 minutes into the first half. The winner plays St. Peter's for the title. We'll see Lolliger in the game now, 21 in green in the corner there with the ball. Cross court, Anderson's 3. No good. Rebound lost out of bounds by Siena. Bronwyn Tobin had a shot at it but couldn't hold on, so the Stags get the ball back.
Tobin's being very active inside, as well as McConaughey. She's doing a nice job. Both of them are doing very well trying to maintain that position. But, you know, actually this is the tallest team that Siena has ever had.
Light with the bucket there for Fairfield, and the Stags, who went the first 2.5 minutes or so without a point, now getting their offense in gear as they've opened up a 4-point lead, 14-10. They're on an 8-0 run right now. Lolliger for 3, off the side of the rim. One and done for the Saints. Fairfield clears the board out. Shiano with it all the way up to Tapley. Back to Shiano. Stags at 23-6 in the regular season, and then beat Canisius yesterday for their 24th win. Light swishes that one, and it's time to talk things over if you're Gina Castelli, as the run has allowed Fairfield to take a 16-10 lead. And Megan Light, the point guard, well, Diane Nolan said, you know what? The great thing about Megan is she's a shooter, too. You don't always find that in the point guard, but she certainly has been a big part of the offense early on.
Well, she's stepping up tonight. You know, the thing about her is she came off of a great high school career. She's actually the leading scorer in her high school, not only for the girls, but also for the boys as well.
The winners of the New York Lottery MAAC Scholar Athlete Award are Corey Osinski from Siena College and Megan Coleman of Niagara University. Osinski's an English major, 3.62 GPA from Schenectady. Coleman, a human resources major, 3.62 GPA from Binghamton. The New York Lottery will provide new computers to Jefferson Elementary School in Rotterdam and Brookside Elementary School in Binghamton on behalf of Osinski and Coleman. The award is based on GPA, community participation, and good sportsmanship. The New York Lottery, supporting education since 1967, salutes Osinski and Coleman for their achievements. You were academic all Big Ten, right?
Yeah.
Close.
Very close.
Okay.
Megan Light really stepping up her play. You can see nice little spin dribble there. Great body control when she goes up for that jumper.
You did go to class at Ohio State, right? You did actually, make maybe a token appearance, bring a book every now and then.
All right, I must confess.
I don't know who has it tougher, basketball players or broadcast majors. I think either way, it's probably a wash, actually. You see a nice crowd on hand from Fairfield. The men, of course, will be in action tonight. Look at the three-point shooting. Siena, 2 of 6. Fairfield haven't tried one yet. But again, when 42 and White gets a chance, Holly Tapley, she can definitely bury the 3. And Tapley picks up a foul, reaching in on Chrissy Lolliger. 11:45 left in the first half. Fairfield 16, Siena 10. MAAC tournament continues in a moment on the MAAC Television Network.
This game is brought to you in part by the Pepsi-Cola Company, the joy of cola. HSBC, your world of financial services. Continental Airlines, work hard, fly right. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. Budget, get out of the ordinary with budget. Mazda, get in, be moved. And by the New York Lottery. New York Lotto, will you be ready if it happens to you?
16-10, Fairfield leads Siena. We're in Albany this year, next year in Buffalo for the 2001 MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships, March 1st through the 5th at Marine Midland Arena. If you'd like more information about that, you can call 716-855-4444, extension 82. Well, Fairfield has not done well in Buffalo. They're probably glad to be here in Albany, where they are 12-5 in MAAC tournament games. They've had some disappointing games and some upsets when they've gone to Buffalo for the tournament. Audra Sprimulo in the game for Siena, 15 in green and gold. She's got the ball right there. Down low to go to Tobin. Kicks it out. Lolliger's 3 is good. So that stops the Fairfield run as Chrissy Lolliger hits from long range.
Lolliger, well deep. Beyond that three-point line, did a nice job of using her legs.
She's a 34% three-point shooter, hit 41 this season for Siena. We have a foul off the ball. That'll go against Audra Sprimulo. That is her first foul. It's non-shooting. The Saints have 3 team fouls, and Fairfield has been charged with 4. Again, when you get to 7, you're in the 1-and-1, and 10 is the double bonus. On the far baseline, Amy Herford with it. They get it back out to Light. Looking inside for Thorne. Nothing there. Light has been the offensive spark. Can't get that one to fall. Thorne and Sprimulo fight for it. Nice save by Sprimulo, but it goes over to the Siena bench, and it'll stay with the Stags.
Sprimulo getting inside down there, trying to keep that ball alive.
Boy, she is just tenacity. That basically is how you describe her game. She'll go all over the court, do everything she can to try and help Siena win on offense or defense, and dive after balls and fight through just about anything. Siena drawing another foul, and this time Fairfield will go to the free throw line. Lolliger got called for that one, and to the foul line goes Schiano. Elena Schiano, sophomore from Cranston, Rhode Island. Had a late season injury that cost her 5 games. Missed the 5 games with a sprained knee suffered back on February 1st. Gina Castelli, not at full strength either. She's battling a nasty cold through the MAAC tournament. Was losing her voice last night after the press conference after Siena's victory over Ryder. And what did we do? Of course, we asked her to talk more, to talk about the game the next day, being the merciless people that the media are.
We were loaded with questions.
Well, no free throws there for the Stags, and Siena has the rebound. Lolliger takes it the other way. Look at the scoring so far. A lot of 2 points for Fairfield, and they can shoot the 3, but look at that. Siena's in this game because they're up 9-0 from 3-point range. Lolliger, who hit a 3, looking inside, foul off the ball against Siena. See who it went against. Baker and Hurden were down there. And it will go against Colleen Hurden.
Well, statistics-wise, the team's actually shooting the same number of times. Although Siena's percentage is down just a little bit, they've been able to knock down a couple 3-pointers.
Gail Strumpf inside, and look at that one through the double team. Gets the nice little roll at the end, and Gail Strumpf has 4. Fairfield up 18-13. Baker up to Anderson. On the near side, that's Boschko with the penetration. Baker back to Boschko. She'll put it up off the glass and rim, no good. Anderson fights for the rebound, and Boschko comes out of the pack with it. They'll reset. Baker, a 3 from her is off the side. Rebound up and no good by Tobin. Another shot for Siena that goes in on the far side. Good to Boschko. And the offensive boards lead to a Siena basket. Quickly down the other way, Isadora up and in.
That's one of the things you don't want to have happen, is score at one end and come down and give up an easy basket at the other end. Transition defense, you need to get back.
Tobin on the wing to Baker, 20-15, Stags in front. Boschko left of the lane with the runner. No good, rebound corralled by Schiano, or Herford, excuse me. Taplin.
Well, Siena actually being very patient in their half-court set and attacking the defense very well, really doing a nice job of attacking the seams. And right there you can see Fairfield looking to set some things up. And Isadora, what a great player.
Pretty spin move to her left as she starts down the left side of the lane and kicks back around and draws the foul to get to the free throw line.
Isadora, she's going to have a great career at Fairfield. She's so quick off the dribble. She can come in, stop right on a dime, pull up for that jumper.
She was named co-MAAC Rookie of the Year earlier this week. 9 points, 4 rebounds. Led the team in shooting this season. And is actually a 71% free throw shooter, although she missed that one. Diane Nolan has not been known, or really hadn't had to rely on freshmen coming in and making impact and starting. But Isadora is just that good. She started every game this season. That's rare for the Fairfield program under Diane Nolan.
Well, she just holds her composure so well when she's on the floor.
1 out of 2 gives the Stags a 6-point lead. Anderson open for the 3. Can't get that one to fall. Isadora's there for the board. Light waits for her teammates. They do like to run. Fairfield is not shy about that as Light pops a 3 and it's all net. But they also like to wait for Gail Strumpf, the best post player in the league, to get caught up with the offense.
Well, the thing is, she actually runs the floor pretty well. But you've got a situation here where the guards are going back and forth. Megan Light really challenging Anderson to come out and make sure that she guards her, otherwise she's going to put it up.
Well, in the first 11 and a half minutes of this game, Megan Light has hit her season scoring average of 9 points. That's a bonus when you get the point guard to be your leading scorer.
Well, that just takes a lot of pressure off the rest of the team. But Tapley defensively, they're doing a nice job of anticipating the ball reversal. She tried to shoot up in the passing lane.
Nice look by Baker down to Boschko, who made the baseline cut, and Siena pulls within 7.
Well, it's a strong, hard cut by Boschko down underneath, and a good pass inside by Baker.
Isadora off to Light. Definitely got to cheat out and watch Megan Light. Doubled down low is Strumpf. The turnaround baseline jumper no good. Armstrong tries to get the rebound out of the hands of Hurden, but Colleen Hurden able to hold on for Siena. And here comes Anderson. The freshman from Northeastern Massachusetts gives off to Baker. She can't hit the baseline jumper. And Isadora has it for Fairfield.
Coach Castelli really believes that Sasha Baker is unlimited potential.
There's a long-range three, no good. Hurden has it, will go the other way. Anderson with a big pass up to Baker. Through the double, now triple team and draws the foul. Through three Fairfield Stags on her way to the basket, and Sasha Baker will go to the free throw line.
Well, she received that ball out on the wing. You'll be able to see she takes a look at the defense and see where they're set, see if she can make the penetration to the basket. And sometimes people put the ball down too quickly before they know where they're going. But she actually cut back against the grain and then went strong to the basket.
The junior from Pawtucket misses her first free throw. Megan Light will take a little break on the bench, and Stacy Briscoe checks in, number 22 for Fairfield, a senior guard from Mechanicsville, Maryland. In the meantime, Baker gets one more free throw. She's just a 48% foul shooter. That was their first shot of the game. Now they're 1 of 2. Baker makes it a 24-18 game with 7:27 left in the first half at the MAAC Women's Semifinals on the MAAC Television Network. And the MAAC will pair up with the NCAA to host some future NCAA championship events. We're not too far away from the East Sub-Regionals this year of the NCAA men's tournament at Marine Mill Arena in Buffalo. The NCAA Cross Country Championships this year in the Bronx at Van Cortlandt Park. 2002 Wrestling Championships here at the Pepsi Arena in Albany. And the 2003 NCAA Tournament Sweet 16 East Regional Round at the Pepsi Arena here in Albany. Men's ice hockey Frozen 4 will be at Marine Mill Arena in Buffalo in 2003. Well, Fairfield has a 6-point lead. Now Siena, as we look at the shooting, Fairfield now at 53%, Siena at 30%. We mentioned off the top a little bit, Siena did play Fairfield tough in both games. In fact, in one of the games this season, they had a 16-point lead and early in the second half against Fairfield and eventually lost that game, Tony.
Yeah, they just kind of went cold a little bit, but in both games, there were 8 different lead changes throughout the game.
Well, Siena going a little zone. Briscoe now handling the offense. Down the middle, she goes, and look at that finger roll. Picking up where Megan Light left off.
Great crossover, and actually she took that dribble on the half dribble, quick cutback, great move to the basket.
Well, Fairfield almost executing like a machine now on offense every trip down the court after struggling the very first few minutes of the game. Hurden throws it to Holly Tapley. Stags quickly back the other way, looking to extend their lead to double digits. Isadora in the corner, back out to Briscoe. Isadora on the baseline, nothing there inside. Tapley for 3, and that one's an air ball. She really wasn't set on that one, and they'll turn it back over to Siena.
No, she didn't have her feet set, and her body definitely wasn't square to the basket, pretty much off balance. But the thing about her is she has such a quick release, but sometimes she's able to get those feet turned very quickly.
Well, Tapley this season, we talked about her three-point ability. 64 threes that she made. That was second best in the MAAC and tied a single-season record at Fairfield. Baker has it knocked away out of bounds by Tapley. Siena keeps the ball, 14 seconds on the shot clock. Siena losing to Fairfield twice. The game in Fairfield was played in early December, and that was the game where the Saints had the 16-point lead 3 minutes into the second half. It was the MAAC opener, but then Fairfield went on a 22-0 run and eventually won that one 69-67, rebounding foul. And we're going to go the other way with possession. Nope, that puts them in the 1-1. That is the 7th team foul on Siena. So it's a bonus situation for Diane Nolan's squad. And then they came up to Siena and beat them on February 9th. Fairfield did 65-60 in overtime. That was the game Tony talked about a little while ago. And in both games, no surprise, Gail Strumpf had a double-double.
There hasn't been too many games where she hasn't had a double-double.
21 games out of a 27-game regular season, 21 double-doubles for Gail Strumpf. That was the most of anybody in Division I. Isadora went 1 of 2 earlier at the line. She gets the first one here to get another free throw. And she has 4 on the game.
Well, you don't get those double-doubles without hard work. They just don't fall in your lap. She is everywhere on the floor, and literally sometimes actually on the floor going after the ball and trying to get the loose balls.
It's now a 10-point lead for Fairfield. It's largest of the game. Under 6 minutes to go first half. Anderson to McKissick. Baker looking to go down the lane. She does. The running right-hander does not drop. Offensive board, put back and around and out. Boy, Bashko thought she had two there. It was all over, but didn't drop down.
Well, she did a good job on the weak side boards, just not able to get that shot to fall. The thing is, right now, Fairfield is really extending their zone defense. They're matching up very well, and they're almost in a 3-2, but it's a little bit of a triangle. They call it a monster defense, and the middle of that zone really covers the inside of the key. And as well, it opens up the opportunity for the wings to cover down.
Well, we talked about them zoning when Tobin's in the game, and that's the key offensive player. Not to take anything away from Bashko and Anderson, but that's who Siena wants the ball to get to, and Bronwyn-Tobin with the hook shot.
That was a nice move for Tobin. She had a nice touch on the shot, but she had to maintain her position real well, posted up hard.
Talk about hard work. We talked earlier about Tapley. Bronwyn-Tobin also worked hard to improve her game as we get a foul off the ball on Fairfield. She'd been a reserve player, but not because she couldn't play, but because there were upperclassmen ahead of her that had done such a great job. But Bronwyn-Tobin, when she first got to Siena, didn't have a hook shot. She developed that. She didn't really have great up and under moves, and she developed that. In fact, the last shot we saw from Bronwyn-Tobin, she probably couldn't hit a couple of years back.
But you can see right there, she's posting real hard, gets the defense right on her back. She receives it, she goes up strong, protects the ball with her body. Nice touch off the glass.
That last foul, the 5th on Fairfield, so it's a Siena possession. Bashko around Strumpf on the baseline, can't get it to fall, follows, off the glass and in. Wow, she's falling down.
Great second effort by Bashko. She does a good job of trying to create a move to the basket, not able to get it to fall the first time, but good second effort gets it to fall the second time.
9 points for Bashko, it's a 6-point game. That runner doesn't go for the Stags, and Bashko's got the rebound. Boy, the freshman from Latvia having a nice first half on the boards and scoring.
She's actually had a lot of experience. She's the youngest member of the Latvian national team.
Good look down low. Tobin wide open for the bucket.
Nice feed inside. Tobin with great hands, coming down with the ball, going up strong.
Well, Siena's come alive now. They were down 10 a moment ago. It's 4. The fans here getting into it as the Saints make a run. Light on the far wing. Shiano back to Light. Herford open. Foul line jumper. Got it.
Well, you definitely don't want to leave her open because she's too dangerous out there, especially right around the free throw line.
30-24 Fairfield. 3:40 to go first half. McKissick has it knocked out from behind by Tapley. It'll stay Fairfield ball. 3:38 left. We'll take a break with the Stags leading the Saints by 6. You're watching the MAAC tournament on the MAAC Television Network. Fairfield leads Siena 30-24. This women's semifinal game. This week's Did You Know feature is brought to you by Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. In the fall of 1989, the MAAC had the largest conference in the country with 12 schools. That was the year Niagara, Canisius, Loyola, and Siena all joined the MAAC. And that was also the first season the men's basketball tournament was held here in Albany. Off the inbounds, quick little layup missed by Bashko. Tobin has her shot blocked by Strumpf. Siena maintains possession. Thought they had an easy 2 out of the break. Couldn't get it to fall. Anderson, Lolliger, McKissick, they're looking inside. Tobin really working against 2 defenders there. McKissick on the drive, up and in.
She did a nice job of splitting the 2 defenders right there. Nobody really guarded her. Got a nice little ball movement there and actually got the defense in transition.
Mary McKissick, freshman from Detroit, pulls him within 4 at 30-26. That's her first bucket of the game. Strumpf inside, and she's got 2 more. 6 for Gail Strumpf. So tough to handle when they get that ball into her that close.
Well, Bashko's going to have to come over and close that shoulder off a little bit so she can't get the opportunity to turn. When she turns, she's so dangerous.
Tobin with the offensive rebound. Bashko. In the corner it goes. And Lolliger can't get the 3 to go down. The ball will go over to Fairfield.
McKissick in good position, just a little long rebound. She wasn't able to come down with it.
Fairfield Stags come back the other way. 15 wins in the MAAC regular season. Isadora on the baseline, around and out. And in fact, you know what? Fairfield is, if they win this game, will actually tie a school record, by the way, for most overall wins in a season at 25. Look at that shot in the paint by Erica Anderson. The freshman has 5, and it's again a 4-point game as we approach 2 minutes left.
Well, Anderson's definitely going to make sure somebody stops her.
Right, they haven't been able to stop her. Isadora on the wing. Strumpf on the baseline, can't get the turnaround to fall. Nice job by Boschko to clear the boards. Freshman to freshman. Anderson brings it up. Lolliger to the basket, a little too hard. And traveling called on Fairfield as Shiano grabbed the rebound and went down right away. Megan McGonigal checks back in for Siena. Boschko gets a break. And it'll be Siena basketball. Diane Nolan with a quick timeout to gather the troops. And let's talk a little bit about the Fairfield defense in this game.
Well, this is why it's so difficult to go against, because the thing is, you can take a look at how they're matched up. You've got the middle right there you've got Tobin taking up the middle. She's covering that whole inside there in the key, but the wings are able to match up outside. So it's very difficult to actually attack. So that's why you have to have good ball movement, very quick penetration, and look to attack it not only from the inside, but then look to kick it back out.
Boy, Gina Castelli last night was so happy her team was able to get a tournament victory, beating Ryder. It has been a very difficult season. There have been some injuries. She's had to change the lineup around, put the freshmen in. At one point, they were 4-13. And they've been used to winning a lot here the last few years. And even Gina admitting it's been a hard season. It's been a long process. But she said, to the credit of the kids, they never packed it in. They believed they could do it. They believed they could win. They went 5-4 in their last 9. And here they are in the MAAC tournament semifinals.
Well, Howard, you know, that's a credit to Gina, because the thing is those kids could have packed it in, but they believe in her. They believe in her system. Therefore, they believe in the team, and that's why they stayed together as a unit. And that's why they're here playing in the semifinals.
Hey, what's not to believe? She has done a fantastic job in her 10 seasons at Siena, with 3 Coach of the Year honors in this league. Rebounding edge to Siena, that's a little surprising because Fairfield is pretty strong on the boards. But Siena has the edge, but Fairfield's got it where it matters on the scoreboard right now at 32-28. Minute 40 left in the first half. Lolliger on the wing. Boschko out top. Lolliger trying to save it, cannot. Goes out of bounds at the Fairfield bench.
Well, and that's just what we were talking about. That's why it's so difficult to go up against that defense there, because the defense is able to extend out. You try to make that penetration, but here you have the defender right in the passing lanes.
So Fairfield has the ball back, trying to add to their lead. White off to Thorne. White thought about the jumper. Now she'll try it from the foul line. Leaves that one off the rim. She's been pretty effective with the jump shot in the first half. Can't get that one to go. Anderson quickly back the other way. Inside they get it. They kick it back out now. Tobin on the perimeter. She's equally as dangerous on the perimeter or inside. Boschko with the runner, and they'll call a charging foul on Siena. Nice job by Thorne defensively to draw that call.
Well, again, that's where that center comes up. That's her territory that she covers.
There you see Boschko trying to drive into the lane, and Thorne just standing her ground. No, the 8th team foul, but it is a player control foul, so it's non-shooting. Fairfield will have the ball as we get to 1 minute left in the first half. Fairfield had a 10-point lead. It's 4 right now at 32-28. They were up 28-18 before Siena made a run to get this one close. Strumpf, 3 people there. Nice dish to Thorne. And a beautiful assist for Strumpf with 3 bodies around there. You get rid of the ball.
Well, that's where you have to close off that shoulder. You can't allow her to turn, because if she's not going to put her shot up, you just see it right there. She sees the floor so well, and she dumps it off.
And that's what Thorne has been able to do this season. You know that everybody's going to focus on Gail Strumpf, at least a double team, sometimes 3 people. She draws so much that you need a complementary post player like Thorne, who's able to get that pass and make a bucket to help out Gail Strumpf.
Well, and that's where it challenges the defense, because you need that weak side wing to drop down and get that opposite block. When you have somebody like Strumpf, and you have to have that help side defense come over, it opens up that whole backside block.
They converted that last time. Sasha Baker at the free throw line. You see the 3.2 rebound total for her so far. And the front end of the 1-and-1 is short. Strumpf grabs the rebound. Baker just 1 for 3 at the foul line in this first half. Under half a minute to go. They cannot hold for 1. There's about a 5-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Tapley to the basket. Right-hander no good. Rebound Thorne up and in. Nope, can't get it to fall, but drew the foul shot. And again, Rebounding, which we thought would be an edge to Fairfield, has not been, but at least they get the offensive board there. Leads to a couple of free throws coming.
Well, and the thing is Tapley really set that up because she read the defenders. The defenders came out over top. She went back behind them. What they need to do when they're coming and recovering out, they need to go the same side she goes when she comes off of that screen. And then you get the help coming over right inside the middle of the paint. So she was very smart on that one, looking to take that baseline. Just went right back away from the defenders.
Allison Thorne out of a very good high school program down in New York, August Martin High School in Queens. Makes 1 out of 2. 35-28. Siena can hold for one. Under 10 seconds to go first half. Baker on the wing. Looking inside. It's deflected. And loose on the floor. Tapley comes out with only 1 second left. And they won't get a shot off before the first half goes into the record books. So again, at one point, a 10-point lead is 7 at the half for Fairfield as they lead 35-28 over Siena. Back with more in a moment on the MAAC Television Network.
I assumed that college would be a long series of lectures, tests, and papers. That was until I went to Niagara University. I put my logistics major to work as an intern at Praxis. I was so well prepared that after a short time, I was offered a promotion in a full-time position when I graduated.
At Niagara, learning inside and outside the classroom are both important. We encourage students to have active learning experiences in research, internships, co-ops, and study abroad.
Niagara University. Make your education an experience.
MAAC Championships being held at Disney's Wide World of Sports in Orlando, Florida. Men's and women's golf, April 28th through the 30th. Men's and women's cross country, October 19th through the 22nd. For ticket information, you can call Anthony Travel at 1-800-736-6377 or check out the website at www.anthonytravel.com. Welcome back. We are courtside at the Pepsi Arena in Albany. Howard Simon along with Tony Resch and Doug Sherman. Fairfield leading Siena 35-28 at halftime. Balanced scoring for Fairfield, and they're doing it on the defensive end as well.
Well, they really are. They are extending that defense, and it's very difficult to play against. And because they're able to play in the passing lanes as well as take up the middle. But the other thing is offensively, they're doing such a good job of pushing the ball up the floor. Again, like you said, very balanced scoring.
Well, Fairfield, the top seed coming into the MAAC tournament as they won the regular season title, their first outright regular season title since 1991. Let's take a look at the standings brought to you by Citizens Communications. You see Fairfield on top. St. Peter's is already in the MAAC tournament title game. Niagara with a third-place finish, one of their best since they joined the league in 1989. Ryder eliminated by Siena last night. You see the Saints and Loyola were 8-10 with Manhattan, Iona, Canisius, and Marist. Now let's talk about some scores. These results of MAAC games brought to you by Mazda. Get in, be moved. And we can talk about how the tournament has gone. We've had action actually beginning on Thursday, rolling through Friday, and again taking us into Saturday. We are at women's semifinals today and men's quarterfinals. We'll go back into the men's bracket. Started with St. Peter's and Ryder and Canisius and Loyola. We look at the women as well at the MAAC tournament. We are at the point where Siena and Niagara have advanced to the men's semis. We'll have more quarterfinals coming up tonight. And as we mentioned, St. Peter's has advanced to the women's title game. They're awaiting either Fairfield or Siena. We'll be back with more halftime activities in a moment. You're watching the MAAC Television Network.
You can pick up a lot of things at Ryder University. All of them lead to success. Call or visit Ryder University in the heart of Central New Jersey.
This game is brought to you in part by Mazda. Get in, be moved. The New York Lottery. New York Lotto. Will you be ready if it happens to you? Continental Airlines. Work hard, fly right. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. Chase Manhattan Bank. The right relationship is everything. Bob Stores. Great buys on brand you wear. And by SmallWorld.com, the largest independent developer of online fantasy sports games.
Welcome back to the MAAC tournament in Albany. It is a women's semifinal game. Siena has their work cut out for them. They trail the top seed Fairfield by 7 at the half. This season, Fairfield, when tied at the half or leading at the half, the Stags are a perfect 19-0. The Siena Saints have a strong commitment to the Capital District's communities. The Siena basketball teams participate in an Adopt a Player program. Let's take a look.
Elementary school students all around the Capital Region got a thrill recently when members of the Siena men's and women's basketball teams made visits to their schools as part of Siena's Adopt a Player program. In addition to the school visit, the students also get to attend a men's and women's game during the season.
The theory behind it is to get out into the schools, as we mentioned, and speak to the younger kids and show them that the role models, which our Siena Saints basketball players have become, are really more than just athletes, that they're scholars as well, and how important it is to stay in school and stay away from drugs, and really the positive messages they get from our players are key.
Of course, the kids love the Adopt a Player program because they get to see a couple of games and meet a couple of the Saints. But the players seem to get something out of the program as well.
And it's always good to go out and meet your fans like one-on-one, get to talk to them a little bit, sign some autographs, just be a little more personable than you can be just like seeing them out in the seats out in the court.
Yeah, I thought it was a good program. The kids seemed real excited about it. They all wanted autographs from us, even though I'm not sure they knew who we all were. They all just excited we were basketball players, and I think they had a good time during it.
While the Lady Saints weren't asked quite as many questions as the men, they seemed to feel a bond with the young girls in the class.
The little girls see that they can play in college too, and that if they keep working hard, they'll eventually get to the next level, and most of them do want to play.
Especially for me personally, I'm not the most athletic person, so for me to play at the collegiate level, I had to work hard, and that's what a lot of little kids will have to do.
The elementary school students will keep in touch with their adopted players with letters throughout the season, and they'll keep up with their stats and use them in math class. As for the players themselves, they've gotten a lesson in how much of an effect they can have as role models.
Great work by the Siena basketball teams getting involved in their communities. The Siena women trail Fairfield by 7. Back with more in a moment on the MAAC Television Network. Welcome back to the Pepsi Arena. We'll take a look at some of the first half stats brought to you by Citizens Communications. And the shooting percentage is the big difference as we look at it.
Well, Fairfield shooting 47%. Actually, Siena has shot 8 more times than Fairfield, but obviously little difference in percentage there. But if you go down to turnovers, Siena with 9 turnovers, you wouldn't think too bad. Fairfield 4 turnovers, not too bad for a first half. 8 points off of turnovers, though, that Fairfield has converted on.
And there, Fairfield's got a 7-point lead right now, 35-28. We'll be back getting you ready for second half action coming up in a moment on the MAAC Television Network.
You have a goal, a mission, something that St. Peter's College understands. Just across the river from New York's financial district, St. Peter's has helped guide students for more than 125 years. With small student-to-teacher ratio, advanced technologies, scholarship programs, and championship athletics, St. Peter's College is a perfect beginning for your growth and success. St. Peter's, the Jesuit College of New Jersey, the advantage you're looking for.
Howard Simon, Tony Resch, Doug Sherman at the MAAC tournament in Albany. St. Peter's awaits the winner of this game. Right now, Fairfield is halfway there, leading the Siena Saints at 35-28. Tony, we'll take a look at some of the action we saw from this first half of basketball.
Well, you see right now, Siena really setting it up, and Baker with a nice feed inside to Boschko. Boschko doing a good job cutting across, but again, inside Tobin being very strong, nice little turnaround. You come down the other end with Tapley, though, picked up a steal, going in strong for a layup right there. And then you have Strump being so active. Nice job in sealing the defender, comes in for the reverse, does a nice job, great body control.
And again, Fairfield up 7. We'll take a look at some of the leading scorers in this game, the leading scorers for both teams. And there's been pretty good balance actually on both sides. For Fairfield, every starter scored in the first half, and Siena had all but Colleen Herden scoring. Megan Light, the point guard, with 9, and the freshman from Latvia for Siena, Gunta Boschko, has 9 as well.
Well, Siena actually is doing a nice job on the boards as well.
Let's talk a little MAAC hockey before we get you ready for this second half, and we'll pass along some scores from the MAAC Hockey League in Quinnipiac. Holy Cross, Sacred Heart, Canisius, and Iona all coming up with victories yesterday. Now, they're headed to the MAAC hockey tournament. Let's take a look at the standings, and we'll tell you that it's been Quinnipiac's season in the MAAC Hockey League, followed by Mercyhurst, Canisius, and UConn. By the way, the tournament will be held at UConn. That's the 2000 Easton MAAC Hockey League Championship, March 16th and 18th at the University of Connecticut Ice Arena in Stores. All session passes are affordably priced at $10, and if you'd like ticket information, call toll-free 1-877-AT-UConn. Connecticut's MAAC entry, Fairfield. Up on Siena as we start the second half. Megan Light, Shireen Isadora, the freshman with the baseline jumper, and gets him on the board quickly.
There she goes. She was just a little short on her shots in the first half, but you know it's just a matter of time before she came out and really was able to knock him down.
Willico MAAC Rookie of the Year has 7. Siena trying to answer back, can't get that one to fall. Here come the Stags. Allison Thorne trying to get up ahead of the pack, scoops that one up, can't get it to fall, and then Isadora goes over the back.
Well, Thorne actually doing a good job of filling her lane, but that's not a pass that she really is comfortable receiving on the run. Give her an opportunity to get herself set. That's a good look. Just a little off balance on her steps. Didn't quite have her steps down. Maybe just a little bit more of a lead pass so she can run under it just a little bit more.
Saints with the starting lineup of Baker and Anderson, Boschko right there, Bronwyn Tobin and Colleen Hurden. Gail Strumpf clears out the rebound. It's Megan Light, the point guard, has it right now for Fairfield. Holly Tapley, Allison Thorne, Isadora, and Strumpf. Isadora can't get that baseline jumper to fall from the corner. Strumpf knocks the ball out of Hurden's hands and knocks it out of bounds. Nice effort by Gail Strumpf.
Well, that's exactly why when you come down with the rebound that you want to chin the ball, bring it inside, secure it. As soon as you bring it down, the defender has access to the ball.
Well, you look at Fairfield, and we watched them yesterday and really dismantle Canisius. And one thing you see when you watch Fairfield in this tournament is the desire that they've talked about, the fire that they have trying to get back to the final and win it as Baker answers for Siena. They got knocked out last year by Canisius in Buffalo, and I think they've carried that bitter taste of the early tournament loss over. They really have some drive this season.
Well, in addition to that, they were the regular season champions and had some bunch of momentum going into the conference tournament.
Fairfield going hard to the offensive boards, and Gail Strumpf converts. She has 8. 39-30 Fairfield. Well, Diane Nolan said the players did a great job in the offseason of kind of, well, rededicating themselves, getting the work ethic back that maybe they had lost it a little bit last season, but came back ready to go and with a passion for the game this season, and it paid off with 15-3 for the MAAC regular season record, and right now in good position to move on into the tournament's final. But Siena's far from done, I guess. 2 minutes in, and they've cut it down to 7, 39-32.
Anderson with a nice little shot fake, got the defender up off the ground, came right around her. Nice little stop and pop.
Light's 3 is blocked by Boschko. Ahead of the pack is Sasha Baker. And Siena's got it down to 5.
Megan Light just thought about that shot just a little bit too much.
Gave Boschko a chance to get up in the air and get a piece of it. Isadora in front of the Fairfield bench. She and Light play catch into Strumpf. Touch pass, Thorne. Her baseline jumper is no good. Weak side rebound, and it's tied up. The arrow will favor Siena. Light did a nice job, the point guard, coming in against the taller Boschko and able to tie her up for that rebound.
Well, Fairfield really looking to work their inside out, but you have Tobin taking that shot from the short corner, from the baseline there. Not one that she's probably overly comfortable taking, is capable of doing it, but not one that you really want her to do. You can see Light sliding right in there for the weak side board.
Erica Anderson, the freshman, up. Boschko cut to the basket when Anderson passed to the sideline, and that'll turn the ball over to Fairfield.
Actually, she had looked away just a little bit. Thought that she was out there on the wing. A little miscommunication there.
Yeah, and Boschko had made her cut. So Fairfield back on offense. Stacy Briscoe in the game now. Strumpf with the scoop. Off the side of the rim, no good. Look at Thorne on the offensive boards and the putback.
Well, that's where Thorne is just so dangerous. She's so active inside.
Well, Thorne averaging 8 points, 5 boards this season, able to get the putback there for the senior from Queens, New York. Makes it 41-34 for Fairfield. Inside they go, nice pass to Bronwyn Tobin for the easy bucket.
Tobin has such great hands as she slid up the lane a little bit. One-handed catch, goes up very strong with the left hand.
Tobin, a senior as well from Teaneck, New Jersey. The Saints' leading scorer and rebounder this season. Strumpf with a nice move on the baseline to get around Hurden and lays it up and in. Well, you talked about it earlier, Tony. For a big girl in this lineup, Strumpf has very good mobility.
Well, she really does, and that's the thing is that's what has impressed me so much about her play. Good contest there. Fouled her just a little bit, but sending Tobin to the ground. But the thing is you can see it. She's playing both ends of the floor, diving on the floor for the loose balls. Good position on the weak side boards, as well as she creates her own shots.
Just the first personal on Strumpf. You see Diane Nolan at the Fairfield bench, and Bronwyn Tobin is at the foul line, a 73% free throw shooter. First 3 years she was a reserve. This season has started every game, had 9 double-doubles, and eventually made second team All-MAAC on Thursday when the awards were handed out at the MAAC dinner here inside the arena on the court.
Howard, you know her goal when she's finished playing?
Yeah.
She wants to star in her own. She wants to star in her own TV show.
She's crazy. 15:56 left in the second half. Siena's back within 5 as they hang tight with Fairfield. Back in a moment. Well, it won't be long before we get to the MAAC Spring Championships. Let's take a look at what's coming up. Baseball, May 18th to the 20th at Marist. Well, that will also host the softball championships on May 5th and 6th. Lacrosse and rowing at Fairfield. Tennis at the Concord in mid-April, and golf in Orlando at Disney's Wide World of Sports. To find out more about MAAC basketball, you can go online and check out the new conference website at www.maacsports.com. It is updated regularly and provides current information about your favorite MAAC teams and players, and it will keep you up to date on everything in the MAAC tournament. Again, at maacsports.com. 43-38, Fairfield leading Siena. A little over 4 minutes into the second half. Stags basketball. St. Peter's won this morning, convincing over Loyola. They're waiting and watching. This steal by Erica Anderson. Tapley back defensively. Anderson leaves it short, and then Boschko, I think, is going to get called for going over the back on Amy Herford. Yep.
Oh, that's one Anderson wants back. She did a great job shooting up in the passing lane, coming up with the steal, just not able to convert.
Yeah, great timing on her part. Tapley just kind of waves at it and, maybe threw her off just a little bit where she left that layup off. And then Boschko goes over the top.
Well, and that's exactly what you want to do as the defender. You want to run through. Give him something else to think about.
Well, Boschko, as that's her third personal foul. They cannot afford to lose her to foul trouble. And Siena will get the ball back here after that turnover.
Hurton right there. Very good defense. She closed in right there on the shoulder of Gail Strumpf. And Gail not able to get her body squared around for that shot. Kind of shot it off balance a little bit, but that's what you want. You can't give her an opportunity to get that shoulder turn.
Anderson. Spermulo, Audra Spermulo, number 15, back in the game. Anderson looking for Tobin, but Isadora was doing a pretty good job of fronting her in the low post. Hurden out top, 10 on the shot clock. Baker off the dribble, can't get it to go. Briscoe has the rebound for the Stags.
Well, those are good shots for Baker. She just needs to be able to knock those down.
Boy, Strumpf holds on as a couple of Saints. One Saint hits the floor pretty hard. Now another. Audra Spermulo, as you see, is down holding her head, and Colleen Hurden went down pretty hard behind Gail Strumpf on that first pass inside. Boy, Spermulo's got a nasty headache now as she is, you see, in pain. Let's see what happened. First, it started with Gail Strumpf getting this high pass, and Hurden, let's see what happened as she actually ran into her teammate. Went down pretty hard into Spermulo. Looks like she's holding her knee. And then Spermulo hit, look at her hit. Ooh, she hit the floor hard. As you could see, her head bounced down into the floor. So we get back underway, and Spermulo is out of the game, getting attended to. Hurden stays in the game. Hurden has it, top of the key. Into the corner goes Anderson's three from there, no good. Up and in, Hurden with the rebound. Colleen Hurden, the senior from Rochester, Wyoming, makes it a three-point game.
Well, Herden with good inside positioning, but the thing is when she came down with it to create a better angle for the shot, good strong power dribble.
Amy Herford answers right back, and she has 6 points, and Fairfield's been able to do that. When Siena's tried to get a little bit of a run, Stags have been able to come up with an answer in this game, and they get it back to a 5-point lead. Tobin flips it right side, Anderson. Freshman on the drive, draws the foul. I think Siena fans are going to like watching Erica Anderson play another 3 years. A freshman from northeastern Massachusetts who made the MAAC's all-rookie team this week. And she has not played in every game. In fact, go back to the end of October when they were getting ready for the season. She suffered a broken arm. She was out 6 weeks or so. Comes back, gets mono. She misses another 3 or 4 weeks. Comes back. They switch positions on her, moving from an off guard to a point guard because they were turning the ball over too much. And she still had an all-rookie season. That's called staying focused, I guess.
That's exactly right. She actually scored in double figures on 5 different occasions this year.
Pretty interesting when you say, hey, we're turning the ball over too much, let's get a freshman in at the point. And that's what Gina Castelli did. And Erica Anderson has done a solid job running this team. It's great when you can get a freshman point guard. As a coach, you got to feel good. You know you got 3 more years with that person running your offense. Isadora can't hit it. Offensive rebound, Herford no good. Strumpf with the rebound in the basket.
Just too many opportunities Siena gave Fairfield in that possession.
Strumpf extends the lead to 6. Open from the corner is Mary McKissick. She can't get that one to fall. White grabs the ball. She's the point guard, just a sophomore for Fairfield.
No, Howard, you're exactly right. Anytime you can get players in there, if they're steady and they're composed, give them the time, give them the opportunity.
Look at Light on the baseline drive, keeps it herself, and she's in double digits with 11 points. Now, it's going to be interesting. Either team that wins here, whoever moves on, you got a sophomore point guard for Fairfield, a freshman point guard for Siena, and a senior point guard for St. Peter's. And usually, your experience in the backcourt is supposed to win out in playoff games. But we'll see. Herden with the rebound and on the floor rather, before the shot, is fouled.
Well, it's getting pretty physical inside, but he's actually doing a very good job. Both teams really trying to maintain control of the boards.
Fairfield's foul is on Megan Light, and it is her 3rd. She stays in the game for now. Megan McGonigal checks in for Siena. Baker gets the screen. She'll take it all the way to the lane, though, pull up for the jumper, and hit it. Sasha Baker, one of the more athletic players in this league, one of the quicker players in this league, has 7.
Well, she was able to get one to fall there. And this is where she's so dangerous, is off the dribble. Very, very effective.
Tapley with a little trap there at the timeline, able to get it off to Light. Isadora, bring it out high for Tapley. She's been pretty quiet, just 4 points. Well, change that. She's going to say, you know, we haven't seen her hit a 3 all day, and there she goes.
Well, she had 7 against Niagara earlier in the season, actually back in February. And sometimes she just gets in a zone, and the thing is, she just kind of comes down the floor and just steps right into her shot.
And her game coming along, her perimeter game coming along as well as it has come along this season. Now you have that great inside-outside threat. You got Strumpf, you had her down low. Now you add Tapley, and you can add Megan Light, and you've got nice balance.
Well, that's exactly right. And the thing is they all run the floor very well. Gail Strumpf has handled the ball in the full court and taken it coast to coast.
McGonigal tries to pass it into the heart of the defense, and it goes out of bounds. And they've called a foul off the ball as well. That last foul was on Gail Strumpf. This one is also on Fairfield. And Fairfield having some foul problems here in the second half. That is the 4th foul on Shireen Isadora. 16 fouls for Fairfield, just 1 for Siena. 8 minutes into the second half. Stags up 9. Tobin trying to get free. Can't get the right hand to the fall, and then a reach-in foul on Siena.
Siena really trying to make some things happen right now. They're trying to make their own breaks, just not able to get those shots to fall.
11:52 to go in the second half. Fairfield back up to a 9-point lead over Siena. We'll return with more of this game in a moment on the MAAC Television Network. Fairfield's lead has been as high as 10. It's at 9 right now. Stags over the Saints, 52-43. And we'll take a look back at some stats. 45% shooting for Fairfield, Siena at 35%. And we'll look at some of the MAAC men's players of the week this week. We've seen many of them in action. Darryl Green with Niagara, victorious earlier today, coming up tonight Iona is in action, and the leading rebounder in the nation will be in action. Darren Phillip from the Fairfield Stags, among the players of the week this 1999-2000 season. And as far as the women, you knew you were going to see Gail Strumpf's name up there. Sasha Baker from Siena. Leah Cromer, we saw earlier today from St. Peter's. And Holly Tapley at the bottom, sharing honors with an Irish Spice line from Ryder the week of January 17th. We are getting ready for action, and Tapley will put it in place. Cheryl Click from Niagara, eliminated by Loyola earlier in the tournament. Mercia Ghetto, a rebounding phenom. If you want to watch St. Peter's tomorrow against maybe Diane Nolan's Fairfield team, Mercia Ghetto is a monster on the boards. They break the pressure. Isadora up front. Look at Strumpf run the court pretty well and trying to get her in position for that, but they'll go Tapley at the foul line. She can't get it to fall. Ball batted around, comes down to the green and gold.
Well, speaking of boards, Siena really doing a pretty good job on the offensive boards. They have 13 right now. The thing is they're not able to capitalize on those.
Tobin can't hit that jumper, and the ball gets eventually into the hands of Amy Herford. Well, Bronwyn Tobin had 31 yesterday in the win over Ryder. She's got 10 here today against Fairfield as we approach 11 minutes left here in the second half of basketball. Ball goes out of bounds. It'll stay Fairfield's possession. You see Gail Strumpf. Boy, I'll tell you what, also Gail Strumpf as a junior, as we look at the stats again. Look at the turnovers. 10-0 Fairfield, points off turnovers. Gail Strumpf has really matured over her career. She's a junior out of Beacon Falls, Connecticut. I mean, she was talented from the moment she came into the league. They can't hit that shot from the side. She was all rookie as a freshman and all MAAC last season and player of the year this year. And she takes a beating, Tony. I mean, she gets doubled and triple teamed and just hammered down low. Used to get to her earlier in her career and it would get her off her game. Now as a junior, Diane Nolan says, you see that maturity. Now she plays through that. She still gets hacked, but she was able to remain focused and not get angry and not get taken off her game.
Well, she holds her own inside extremely well.
Strumpf grabbed that last board off the Siena miss. They can again get the lead back into double digits on this trip up the floor. Megan Light hands off to Isadora. Freshman left to the lane with a spin and gets the lead up to 11.
That was a good offensive possession there by Fairfield, allowing Isadora to create on her own. Kind of cleared it out for her a little bit to go one-on-one.
Baker to Tobin. Baker on the wing. Can't get that shot to fall. Light comes back the other way with Fairfield. They don't have numbers yet, so Light wisely dribbles out of the traffic. Tapley spots for three, and she's got a couple now. After going the first half with none, Holly Tapley has 2 threes in the second half, and that quickly the lead is up to 14, the biggest of the game. And Siena wants to talk things over with 10:03 left in the second half. Fairfield is now leading Siena 57-43. Let's take a moment and look back at some of the rookies of the week for the women. The Chase MAAC Rookie of the Week summary. We are watching Shireen Isadora in action, and she was named the MAAC Co-Rookie of the Week. We saw Beth Dickinson earlier today from St. Peter's. She'll be in the final. Gunta Basco from Siena. Erica Anderson, the week of January 31st. Isadora winning it again, and Anderson repeating as well. The MAAC Rookies of the Week this 1999-2000 season. Well, Siena's shooting percentage continues to drop. Actually, three-point percentage alone, they're shooting 20%, 3 of 15. Now, Fairfield, I don't think they had taken a three at all in the first half. Now they're 3 of 9, 33%, 2 of them coming from Tapley.
I was going to say, thanks to Tapley.
Yep. Showing why she was one of the better long-distance shooters, the second best in terms of makes this season in the MAAC. McGonigal on the near wing. McKissick down low, pass knocked around. Herford bats it to Thorne, and here come the Stags the other way.
Well, that was the right idea to go inside, but the wrong passing angle. You have to be able to create those angles to get it in, get that good feed inside.
Tapley, that ball thrown a little bit behind her, and McKissick picks it off for Siena, and then they travel with the basketball. An unforced error, and it goes back to the Stags.
Well, it seems just as though Siena starts to create some opportunities for themselves, they shoot themselves in the foot, which is unfortunate because they're trying to dig themselves out of this hole, but very difficult process.
Isadora off to Light. Drives left to lane and stops. That's Tapley with it. Needs a little help. Thorne. Tapley. 10 on the shot clock. Isadora's going to pop it, and they might have got a piece of that, left it short.
I think Boschko got a handle on that one.
Nice feed down low from McGonigal from Anderson, and Siena gets a layup.
You know, that's why Anderson is playing so well. She sees the court, great composure. I'm impressed with her.
57-45. Saints have to put on some pressure here to try and get a run and get back in this game. They work the trap, but Hereford gets it from Tapley. Get it in the hands of your point guard, and Light turns it over. Quickly back the other way. Anderson all the way to the basket. Can't get it to go down. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Fairfield, so Siena will keep it.
I guess there's not too much of a question, really, why Anderson's starting at this point. She just does such a great job.
Yeah, they've really helped. The move to put the freshman in the lineup really turned the season around. It went from miserable to not as bad. I mean, they did play over 500, one game over 500 with the new look lineup. And of course, won their first game in the tournament over Ryder, a game that was close for the most part last night, and Siena pulled away in the final few minutes. They get it down low for the, no, they can't get the layup. McGonigal, I thought she had it inside. There've been a few of those today. When Gina Castelli looks back at this game, she'll see the few of the layups inside that they just didn't convert.
Well, I'm not sure she has to look back at it. She's going a little crazy.
Coaches know that stuff, right?
That's it, you know it. And you'll be able to see right here, nice high-low look inside. McGonigal not able to get that shot to fall. They've had so many opportunities. But again, they're doing so many things well, they just can't finish.
It's a great thing about being a coach. You don't have to check the tape. You have that memory, that instant recall of everything that's happened in the game.
And that's why you can't sleep at night.
Yeah. Holly Tapley trapped in the front court. Thorne has it off to Briscoe. Briscoe needing help after picking up the dribble. Thorne has it. They'll go high-low, but a nice pickoff by McGonigal, batting the ball away that was headed towards Strumpf.
Well, McGonigal with very good defense, actually fronting Strumpf. And that pass not able to get inside to her.
Burden opts against the jumper. Off to Boschko, and she draws the foul on the drive. You know, you look at coaching and you think of the sleepless nights and the endless scouting and the tapes and everything, but then you talk to the coaches and we see Boschko drawing the foul. Then there's the upside. Mike Grinelli talked about it. Both of these ladies would talk about it, about getting to work one-on-one with the players and getting kids that mean a lot to you and get those, and sometimes you hope you get that really special team, that special season.
Well, that's exactly right. There's so much to say for chemistry. When you have great players, that's what makes you stay in, or I should say not necessarily makes you stay in, but allows you to stay in the profession a little bit longer, because it's a very difficult profession to be in. And when you get players like that, it just makes it all worthwhile.
1 out of 2 at the foul line. 7:45 left, second half. Fairfield leads Siena 57-46. Back with more in a moment on the MAAC Television Network. Small World, a new internet sponsor of the MAAC, is the largest independent developer of online fantasy sports games. You can play Small World baseball, football, hoops, and hockey all for free. And they'll have the best NCAA bracket game on the internet, Journey Through the Tourney, where you can sign up and compete against 50 friends and against the world. Small World is based in New York, and the company loves the spirit of competition that exists in our league. MAAC fans would love to play and compete in Journey Through the Tourney. If you want to find out more about Small World games, go to www.smallworld.com. By the way, Small World gave away $5,000 earlier in this game. And the women's final coming up tomorrow with the men's semifinals. The men will start at noon, and the women's final at 5:30. It will be St. Peter's against either Fairfield or Siena. They had a lucky fan here in one of the men's games, hit a half-court shot, and he won $5,000. Guy who lives in this area, went to college at St. Rose. Casey O'Connell from Latham. Casey's a very popular guy right now. He's got a lot of friends, myself included. I gave him my home address. Tapley wheeling in the lane. Strumpf grabs the ball. Strumpf turn around, blocked and fouled. They'll call Megan McGonigal, but she didn't like the call. She hopped up and down in protest. Strumpf will head to the free throw line. Have you got your bracket all taken care of? I went through the standings the other day. I picked out 64 teams without batting an eye. That's easy. Of course, that was before all the tournaments and the upsets, but it was easy.
You know, come tournament time, so many different things happen. It's kind of up for grabs. It'll be interesting to see who ends up going to the Final Four.
Well, folks in Buffalo getting pretty excited about hosting sub-regional games in the East. As Strumpf misses the first free throw, that region sold out before any other in the country. It's the first time the NCAA tournament will be in Buffalo, and everybody's looking forward to it, and they're going to get probably a number 2 seed in the East region. Siena, of course, the men hoping to get an NCAA bid for the second straight year, probably have to win the tournament. I don't think anybody thinks they've got a shot at an at-large bid, so they'll probably have to win here on Monday night.
Well, they played very well this afternoon. A great crowd, too.
Yeah, they had over 8,800 with Siena's men advancing over Canisius to play Niagara in one semifinal tomorrow. Erica Anderson buries the three from the corner.
Anderson doing a nice job keeping Siena in this game, but again, it's hard work, all of them picking up full court.
Down the middle, Briscoe with the right hand. Oh, did she do a nice job of shielding with her left and shooting with her right?
Well, that was good body control, but unfortunately, Siena not stopping her. She's coming down the floor. You're picking up full court, everybody trying to get there, but you need to close the gap.
Boy, now that'll drive a coach nuts. As they go inside to Tobin, you get the three, you get it under double digits to 9. You need a big stop, and she goes right down the heart of the defense.
Well, that's exactly right. You can't just keep exchanging baskets. You need to be able to cut down the lead one bucket at a time.
Well, you can see they put on the pressure here. They tried to trap it, and they do force the turnover. The high pass picked off by Tobin. Under 6.5 to go. It's a 9-point game.
Well, good decision here by Siena to slow it up. Fairfield's defense was back, set up, take the time, use that 30-second clock.
Now, there's no need to rush on offense. You have time. Boschko with the deflected ball. Three from Lolliger. It is good! And the Siena crowd back into this one because their Saints are back into this one.
Great ball movement by Siena. You can just see the confidence right now. This team never gives up, and that's one of the things why they're here today. Again, Gina has talked about perseverance through the season, the kids believing in themselves, staying with it. Great kick out. You can see right there, knocks the shot down. Does an excellent job getting her feet underneath her.
Chrissy Lolliger had 41 threes this season. One of the better shooters, although not the best when it came to long distance. The Citizens Communications long distance shooter update. Iris Bice lineup rider was right there, number 1. Holly Tapley from Fairfield was second. As we see the top 6, and again, that 3 has made it now a 6-point game. It's, let's see, an 11-3 run right now for Siena because just moments ago they were down 57-43.
Well, they were. And, you know, the other thing that we talked about it really at the beginning of the game was Siena being able to control the boards, and they have been doing a great job of doing that, out-rebounding Fairfield. The problem is, and actually doing a great job on the offensive boards, they're not able to convert. But because of their persistence, getting down, playing good, picking up full-court defense, they're actually able to knock themselves in the game by knocking down a few three-pointers, a couple buckets here or there.
Siena looking to come up with another stop. Isadora, they want to get inside to the player of the year. Strunk finishes off for Fairfield. It's a very easy idea. You got the best player in the league, you get her the ball.
Well, that's exactly right. Tobin actually taking away her right shoulder, but Strunk, being as smart as she is, goes over the left shoulder.
Tobin, double, bounce pass. Boschko's 3 is off the rim, no good. And Fairfield gets the ball. Holly Tapley looking for help. Here comes Megan Light into the backcourt to take control. Under 5.5 to go. 62-54 Fairfield. At stake, a berth in Sunday's title game opposite St. Peter's. At stake there, an automatic bid to the women's tournament. Strumpf gets another basket. So back-to-back possessions. They go to Gail Strumpf, and she answers.
Well, Strumpf actually able to turn around right there, pretty much uncontested, just a little turnaround jumper.
Strumpf had 6 in the first half. She's up to 17 now in the game. Boschko almost turned it over, hits the basket and draws the foul. Went up pretty high with the dribble. And Diane Nolan thought maybe something should have been called, but she hits the bucket and she got a chance for a 3-point play.
Well, one of the biggest things about Boschko is when she's going up for those shots, she maintains her body control so well. She goes down the lane. One time she picked up a charge, but maintained her body control, didn't even move off of it. And right there, does an excellent job of sealing the ball away from the defender. Good contest. Actually fouled. She's on the line right now.
Hey, the freshman from Latvia is having herself a whale of a tournament game. 13 points and a career-high 13 rebounds for Gunta Boschko. 64-57, 4:50 and counting as you see left in this game, or at least in the second half.
Well, Howard again, a freshman.
Yeah, how about that, huh? Not bad when you get a freshman to have a game like that at tournament time. Isadora, another freshman. It is in and out. Thorne with the rebound, basket, and the foul. What a big offensive board and putback. Allison Thorne has done the dirty work in this game, and it pays off with a bucket, and she's got a trip to the line coming up.
Well, she does such a good job of moving on the missed shot. She goes up for this rebound. You'll be able to see as she comes in, slides in there. She actually was on the other side, slides in because they did not box her out. You need to make sure you get a body on her, check first, then release for the ball.
Thorne's three-point play gives her 8 points in the lead, quickly back up to 10. Clock ticking down, now an ally of the Fairfield Stags. Tobin on the far wing to the basket. Nice drive by Baker. Thorne tried to draw the charge. Sasha Baker finishing off to get it down to 8.
Well, actually, it was a great seal on the backside for that skip pass, and Baker doing a good job making the penetration baseline.
Megan Light getting instructions from the Fairfield bench and head coach Diane Knoll, and this one's tapped our way. And let's see, they confer, and it'll be Fairfield ball.
Baker doing a very good job defensively on Tapley. She's really making Tapley work. Well, and the other thing is what you have to take a look at. Tapley being a shooter, you've got Baker making her work so hard. You have to take a look here in the next couple minutes of the game. How much will that affect her shot?
Isadora down to Thorne, turn around, off the side. Boschko's got the board, clock under 4. Siena makes this trip up court. Anderson, bounce pass to the baseline. Tobin, flip it out high to Hurden. Inside, right to Gail Strumpf, almost knocked her down. She looked up and the ball's coming right at her.
Well, she really tried to thread the needle on that one. I think she thought Strumpf was just a little bit further away than what she was.
Yeah, because it really looked like she thought Gail was a teammate. She was passing the ball right to her. Tapley driving left to the lane. Isadora with the fake, gets called for steps. 3:24 left in the second half. Fairfield hanging on, 67-59 is the score. We'll be back in Albany in a moment on the MAAC Television Network.
What are those stories?
That about people.
Try an interval of about 15 milliseconds. That's half of what the PISA was.
The aspects of the retreat, like you talked about friendship.
Also about what that knowledge means for the human spirit. I know that students are concerned about it.
This game is brought to you in part by HSBC, your world of financial services. The Pepsi-Cola Company, the joy of cola. Citizens Communications, the official telecommunications company of the MAAC. Budget. Get out of the ordinary with Budget. Chase Manhattan Bank. The right relationship is everything. And by Bob Stores. Great buys on brands you wear.
Fairfield junior Gail Strumpf, the MAAC Player of the Year this season. And why? Well, she was second in the MAAC in scoring, first in rebounding, third in field goal percentage, and first in blocks. And she's come alive in the second half here with 19 points now for the game to go along with 6 rebounds. Boschko down low for Siena, gets the bucket as the Saints try and stay alive here.
Well, once again, Anderson really threading the needle to get it inside to Boschko. Boschko really picking apart the backside of that defense.
They beat the trap with the long pass, under 3 minutes to go, 67-61. It is a 2-possession game. Fairfield had a 14-point lead in this second half, 57-43 before Siena worked their way back in. They need a stop here. Strumpf blocked on the baseline. Boschko's got the ball. And I think they got a piece of that, and then it hit the side of the backboard. Boschko, Hurden on the baseline. Lolliger, Hurden to the basket. She can't get it to fall, but draws the foul.
Lolliger with nice little fake there. Drew the defense, good penetration inside. You see that fake right there, just dumped it off inside. That's the whole thing. You get the defense coming up, hands are up. She just, nice little bounce pass inside.
Colleen Hurden steps to the line for some big free throws. 66% foul shooter for this co-captain of the Saints. A little rim, but hey, it goes down just the same. She is a senior from Ranchester, Wyoming, who made the all-rookie team back in 1997. Colleen Hurden, as any senior would, just doesn't want to see that college career come to an end. It's a 4-point game. Press is on. Thorne gets it into the hands of the sophomore, Megan Light. 2:20 left in regulation play. Isadora, wide open. Thorne to the basket, leaves it short. Thorne can't get the rebound. Strumpf has it on the floor. Strumpf's baseline jumper no good. Thorne slow to get up. Still down in the lane. Light can't hit it. Falls over Thorne. And now they blow the whistle. Allison Thorne is down and in pain in the paint from the initial fall to the floor as play continued around her. And we'll see what the injury was here on the replay. The foul has been called on Siena's Bronwyn Tobin. She just lost her footing and went down pretty hard on her back. And the trainer is out attending to Allison Thorne. Again, the foul is on Bronwyn Tobin. This copyrighted telecast of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference may not be retransmitted, reproduced, or rebroadcast without the express written consent of the MAAC and MAAC properties. Now we can tell you that Siena, with the foul, is still not over the limit. That was their 6th team foul. So Fairfield will have to put the ball in play. Fairfield has 9 fouls, next foul for them, and it's a double bonus for Siena. And they're working on the right leg of Allison Thorne, a senior from Queens, New York. You see the huddle, Diane Nolan, with 3 MAAC tournament titles and 3 NCAA tournament bids. Coming in Albany. This has been a fun place for Fairfield to play, and Thorne gets a nice round of applause from the mostly Siena crowd as she heads back to the Stags bench.
Sometimes those initial injuries, they really do hurt, and then after it kind of settles down a little bit, you know, as parents used to tell you when you're a little bit younger, just rub it real hard. You give it a couple minutes, and sometimes, you know, when you come down, especially if you kind of torque that ankle a little bit, that initial sprain there hurts, but sometimes it's not quite as bad as what it initially seems.
And we'll see. We'll hope that Thorne can get back in this game. She's had a good day for Fairfield. Gail Strumpf at the line, 1 of 2 today, a 70% foul shooter. All net, you can hear it, 68-63.
She wanted that one. You could just see her. She kept that hand up there, saw the basket in the whole way.
By the way, Strumpf in this tournament yesterday became the first Fairfield player to score 600 points in a season. And she is adding to that record total today. 2 of 2 for Strumpf. Lead back up to 6, 2-possession game as Siena moves into front court. Clock ticks to 2 minutes and counting. Left in regulation. Baker, great look. Bosco down low, all open.
Once again, nice little combination inside. Baker to Bosco. Bosco really doing an excellent job on the backside of that defense.
Again, it's 4. Siena fans calling out for the defense to make a play here. Light off to Isadora. Herford on the wing, looking for Strumpf. Deflected by Hurden. Light's got it. Back out to Tapley. 10 on the shot clock. Tapley blocked by Baker. Light with 8 on the shot clock. Light to the basket over Hurden. Off the rim, no good. Rebound out of bounds. And it stays with Fairfield.
Oh, that's a tough possession there. Great defensive series by Siena. Excellent job not fouling as the shot clock started to get down. Good contest by Baker coming out and really doing a nice job contesting a shot. Unfortunately, you got a reset on the 30-second clock.
Tobin takes away the inbounds pass and hands to Anderson. What a play by Bronwyn Tobin. Back the other way, they do not have numbers. Anderson waiting for help. Finds the trailer. Bosco, Anderson, Hurden. Inside double teamed and the ball's knocked around and stolen by Fairfield. They tried to get it to Tobin, but there were a lot of white jerseys in there.
Well, that look has been there most of the game, but unfortunately, very good defense by Fairfield. Just kind of tried to force that one just a little bit too much.
Fairfield calls a 30-second timeout. 1 minute exactly left in the second half. That may turn out to be the most costly turnover of the game. Siena had a chance to get it down to 2 or even 1, but it stays 69-65, and they've got to play defense again out of the huddle. And again, your go-to player is Gail Strumpf, and you got to figure at some point in this possession the ball is going to be touched by Gail Strumpf.
Well, a couple things has to happen. You have to make sure that you put good pressure on the ball. You have to be able to contain, don't allow the penetration to open things up. You also have to have very good help side defense because Gail Strumpf is just too difficult to defend one-on-one because she can go either way. She can go off either shoulder. If you have the help side come over, you have to make sure that you slide down, get that weak side box up so she can't dump off the ball.
Now we'll see what has been designed. Light, Isadora, Strumpf, Herford, and Tapley. The 5 on the floor for Diane Nolan and the Fairfield Stags. It'll be Tapley to put it in play near the Siena bench. 19 on the shot clock. Inbounds, Isadora to the basket. Blocked by Tobin, that they whistled a foul. So they didn't take much time. They saw the opening, sent Isadora up court. Nice pass off the inbounds. And she's headed to the free throw line for a couple of shots. And that is on Bronwyn Tobin. That is her 5th and disqualifying foul. So there goes the leading scorer and rebounder for the Siena Saints. And Bronwyn Tobin, the senior, hoping that her career has not come to an end on that foul out.
Gina Costella actually taking advantage of the 30 seconds she has before she brings in the replacement.
Tobin with 12 points in this game against the Fairfield Stags. And when we come back, Isadora is going to be at the foul line. Siena hanging tough. Fairfield is the top seed. Siena was the number 5 seed coming into this tournament. As you take a look at Bronwyn Tobin, will form hold. Number 2 is already in, St. Peter's. It could be a 1 and a 2 if Fairfield hangs on. And it would pit the 2 winningest programs in the history of MAAC women's basketball. St. Peter's is number 1 in terms of regular season and MAAC tournament. St. Peter's is 1 and Fairfield is right behind. Isadora, the freshman, has some big free throws facing her. The freshman from Roselle, New Jersey. Gets the first one. That's a big one. Now it's a 3-possession game. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. It's still a 2-possession game with the 3. It's a 5-point lead. Hey, broadcast major, not a math major.
There's still a lot of time left in this game.
Leaves that one off the front rim. So it's an odd number lead. If you're thinking 3, Anderson's pretty good at it. So's Lolliger. She's got the ball there. Hands off to Anderson. Bashko. Back to Lolliger. We're trying to get free. Fairfield's doing a nice job on the perimeter defense, and Lolliger calls time. You can see they really wanted to just get some kind of an opening to pop it if they could. I'll tell you, Fairfield did a nice job defensively there and forced Lolliger to ask for a timeout with 38 seconds left.
Well, they really did have a very good defensive series that time, playing in the passing lanes. And you can see how far out they're extended, really playing that 3-point shot. And Tapley doing a good job defending the wing there. And they're trying to get it. They're trying to work it around. But Siena calling a timeout right here because they didn't have anything. They still have 11 seconds on the shot clock. So that was a good timeout by Gina. I'm sure they're going to have a good play here, at least looking to execute a good out-of-bounds play.
You talked about the wing defense, and that's something that's another difference about this team. Diane Nolan said with the addition of Isadora, we now have very good wing defenders in Isadora and Tapley, which they really haven't had that often, at least in recent years, and that's made a big difference, and we saw it right there on the one play. Again, 11 on the shot clock. Quickly trying the 3, and it is off the rim, no good. Strumpf has the rebound and is fouled right away. Hits the floor pretty hard. It goes the other way for free throws for Fairfield. And as we get set for some Gail Strumpf free throws, we can tell you that today's Pepsi player of the game is the junior from Beacon Falls, Connecticut, and the MAAC player of the year, Gail Strumpf. She is 1 rebound shy of yet another double-double. 21 points, 9 rebounds. Siena calls timeout before Gail Strumpf will get a couple of free throws to try and increase on that 5-point lead for the Fairfield Stags. Don't forget, we have more basketball coming up right after this. We still have 2 more men's games, games 5 and 6 on the day here in Albany. Doug Sherman and Glenn Consor are warming up the pipes as we speak, as they will bring you nighttime action featuring Ryder and Iona, and then the nightcap, Fairfield and Manhattan. Niagara and Siena have already advanced to play on Sunday. There you see it. Iona, the 2 seed, coming up next against Ryder. And then what should be an exciting affair between Fairfield and Manhattan to fill out the final 2 spots in the Final 4 for the men. Gail Strumpf back at the free throw line. She missed her first today, but she's hit her last 3.
Well, she's a gamer. You have to bank on her making these free throws. Siena's got to inbound the ball very quickly, get the ball up the floor, and get a quick shot off.
Point number 22 for Strumpf. And it's a 6-point game. You see the Fairfield bench. I wouldn't exactly call it a nail-biter, but they had this game, they thought, with a 14-point lead and never really put Siena away. Siena hung around, came back, got it down to 4, and have made it very interesting here at the end. That's the big free throw. That makes it a 3-possession game. See, I knew that math would pay off somewhere. Just ahead of my time a little bit. Boschko down the lane, off the glass and in. Tried to draw the charge too, but couldn't get it. It is 72-67. Inbounds intercepted by Boschko. All the way to the net, off the glass, no good. Rebound, Boschko, up and in.
Give credit to Boschko when she came off of that steal.
They try the long pass again. Anderson's gonna let it go wisely, and it's out of bounds. It's Siena ball. They're down 3 with 18 seconds to go. They've got a possession to tie.
Well, actually, Gail Strumpf, even though she went after that ball as hard as she did, she's hurting right now. But the thing is she saved the ball being inbounded from Siena's own basket. That's exactly right.
Possession, okay.
And even though she was hustling, and I don't know if she was aware of what was happening, and I'm sure that she probably was because she's such a headsy player, she actually made a great save, even though she hurt herself, because Siena would have been inbounding the ball at their own baseline.
Well, they tried the long pass earlier. They were trying to get it to Strumpf. Not a long pass, just past the three-point arc, and Boschko with the steal, missed, got the rebound. Then they tried the home run pass. Tapley wings it. Anderson in the foot race, and see what Tony was talking about right there. She also, of course, she could have tried to knock it off of Anderson, but at the very least, you're right. It's a great point. Now, Siena's got to go the length of the court. Now they have time. It's 18 seconds. The question is, how's Gail Strumpf? She comes back onto the court, hobbling a little bit as she hit the floor pretty hard. She's back out there to play defense. Actually, you know what? They're going to give him the ball down.
They sure are.
Here, yeah. They are going to give it. They'll say that. I guess they're going to say she never really got to it, or it was out of bounds already. I don't know. I'm kind of confused by that one. Tony, Siena gets the ball under the basket, down 3. 3 from Anderson. It is an air ball, and they can't save it. 12.3 seconds left, and Fairfield gets the ball back.
Well, Anderson was short on that shot. She really didn't have an opportunity to get full extension on that.
And they had time. They had 12 seconds.
They did.
No need to rush it. But it's a freshman sometimes.
And, you can't fault her now. She's part of the reason why Siena is in this game and as close as it is.
Strumpf checks out with 12.3 left. Pressure's on. You can see Strumpf's in pain as they work on her on the sideline. Light immediately fouled. Less than a full second going off the clock. And it'll be Megan Light, the sophomore from New Jersey, who will go to the free throw line. As you look at Gail Strumpf at the Fairfield bench in pain.
Well, actually, here again, Howard, you've got another 2-possession game. Bank on the fact that she's going to knock these 2 free throws down. You get the ball up quickly. If you can get it off, you could still have about 5 or so seconds on the clock. Give yourself an opportunity to be able to get a steal.
Well, Megan Light, you talk about bank. She's money in the bank. She is their best free throw shooter, 85% this season. And she makes it to the all-important 4-point game. Point guard has done a nice job today, running the offense and getting some points. Hitting 2 big free throws. She's got 13, 74-69, 11 ticks left. Baker, Lolliger, her 3 in the air. Good on net! It's a 2-point game with 5 seconds left, and Isadora calls time. 5.9 seconds to go. And now we'll have to see if Siena can put on the pressure on the inbounds.
Well, this is where, number 1, you want to try and get a 5-second call. Number 2, you want to try and get a steal initially, and if not, you've got to get a foul to stop the clock.
Well, Lolliger has 3 baskets today, all of them 3-point shots. Look at the reaction on the Siena bench. And they quickly set up their press, and Shireen Isadora quickly called time for Fairfield so they could set up a play to run against this. And boy, Gail Strumpf is just a spectator now, and that's got to be driving her nuts after getting hurt just a moment ago. And Strumpf will remain on the Fairfield bench as her teammates come out, try and inbound the ball. Key is get it in bounds. Obviously, you want to try and get it into the hands of Megan Light, number 23, your best free throw shooter. Tapped it and put it in play. Herden guarding the inbounds pass. They're stacked in the paint. Light breaks free, gets it, and is hacked by Baker. Got her across the eye a little bit, and she runs up court.
Well, give credit to Fairfield because you had Light coming right to the ball. They want the ball in her hands so she can go down the free throw line. And she got fouled pretty hard.
She got scraped over the right eye, and apparently she'll be okay. Hey, the way she shoots free throws, she could probably close both eyes and still hit the free throws. 4.9 seconds to go. Light is back there again. So many times this game comes down to free throw shooting. Fairfield 7th in the league. But Light has done a good job at the line. 2 shots, there's one.
I was just going to say, Fairfield needs to make sure they match up on Anderson. Anderson's right there at the half-court line. You have Briscoe that's kind of going over there, but you don't want to give anybody a free opportunity.
You know what, unofficially, I've got Fairfield 11 of 12 at the line in the second half. Not bad for a team that's 66% normally. 76-72, time running out. Lolliger can't handle it, and that'll wrap this game up. The buzzer sounds and Fairfield hangs on. It went from 14 to 3, but the Stags hang on. 76-72, Fairfield is headed to the MAAC championship game against St. Peter's. We'll be back here at the Pepsi Arena in a moment. Fairfield hangs on. Welcome back to the Pepsi Arena in Albany. 76-72 the final. Howard Simon along with Tony Resch and Doug Sherman. It was an exciting game. It was a 14-point lead, and Siena got back in this one. They had a possession to tie, but Fairfield hangs on, and they go to the MAAC Tournament Championship against St. Peter's. It did not come without a major sweat job, so to speak, there at the end of the game.
That's exactly right. I can't say enough about Siena. You talk about perseverance. We talked about it at the beginning of the game. That's why they were here playing in the semifinals. A 4-point game. They have nothing to hang their heads about. I know it's a very difficult loss for them, but boy, starting 2 freshmen, outstanding effort, outstanding play, never gave up, but give credit to Fairfield as well. They hung on, good, steady play.
Yeah, you know what, in the past few years, Fairfield had at a game like this, sometimes they'd end up losing them. In Buffalo, they certainly did, but they held off. To give them credit, Megan Light hit some big free throws, Strumpf hit some big free throws and some baskets. They got a little bit from everybody today, and that's why they move on.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's why you can't say enough about experience. It shows in games just like this.
So Fairfield moves on. Let's take a look at the brackets and see what's happened. And actually, form has held through the MAAC Women's Tournament. It will be 1 against 2. The top 2 programs in the history of this league in the regular season and the tournament will meet, as it will be St. Peter's and Fairfield. By the way, they split the regular season series. Fairfield lost at St. Peter's, and then they beat the Peahens at Alumni Hall in Fairfield, 81-64. Now, we'll have the MAAC Women's Championship game coming up on Sunday. Our coverage will actually begin tomorrow with men's semifinals at noon, and then Fairfield and St. Peter's will play for a spot in the NCAA tournament. We'll take a break and be back with more from the MAAC tournament on the MAAC Television Network. Back at the Pepsi Arena in Albany, the women's final is set. Fairfield and St. Peter's still to go. The men's 2 more quarterfinals tonight. Ryder and Iona on the court getting ready for their matchup. Also on the court is our very own Doug Sherman. Doug?
Thank you, Howard, and we've got a special guest between games, Albany County Executive Mike Breslin. Thank you for joining us here, and I know you wouldn't be anywhere else right now.
Doug, it's great to be here. This is always a great time of year, the final March Madness and the NCAAs, but this is a great lead into it.
Now, this is the 9th time this county and this city and this arena has hosted the MAAC tournament. How has it grown, and how important is it for you guys to have this tournament here?
Well, I think it's great for the community. It's great for the College of Siena and the whole league to come here, because we really draw people. This is a college town, a college basketball town, I think, more than any other sport. We're happy to have it. It's one of the big things we shoot for every year. I think it assists us in getting NCAA games here because of how well we do with the MAAC tournament.
Right now, this contract that presently has it splitting the MAAC tournament between Buffalo and Albany is up in a couple of years. Obviously, the idea is to get back on the next contract in some capacity.
We would love to have it come here permanently, make this their permanent home. Whether that's going to happen, I don't know. But we would surely love to have that. The MAAC always does well here. We're centrally located from Niagara and Canisius on the west down through into New York City and metropolitan New York. And we're very, very happy to have it. And it's always great when Siena's playing well, because Siena's a big draw, it's going to be a great next couple of days.
Well, you are a big Siena follower. I know you follow the Saints. What are your thoughts now? They made it through that first round game, a tough Canisius team.
I think they look great today until they get their big lead, and then they kind of sat on it a bit and things got a little bit out of hand. But they really look good. Faison's okay, and I look forward to a great game.
What's the greatest benefit for the county? these guys coming here? I mean, obviously money, hotels are filled. I mean, what's the best thing?
Money, hotels are filled. This is also a prime attraction. It's wonderful entertainment for our kids who can see college athletics at their finest. And we're just very, very happy to have it here.
Well, we're happy to have you with us, Mike. Thank you for joining us here today.
My pleasure, Doug, and we hope the whole rest of the tournament goes as well as the first part.
All right, Mike Breslin, the Albany County Executive. We send it back over to Howard.
All right, Doug, thank you very much. And we're talking a little bit about St. Peter's and Fairfield, the top two teams, and this will be a very interesting matchup. We know Fairfield can score, and we know St. Peter's doesn't like to let teams score. They're very, very tough defensively, so it's going to be interesting to see whose style wins.
Well, the zone defense of Fairfield that they run causes some problems with St. Peter's because they extend it, but they play the lane so well. St. Peter's is going to have to be a little bit patient, and they're going to have to make sure they get good ball reversal. If they make that penetration, they're going to have to kick it out. But it really challenges the outside shooting for St. Peter's.
St. Peter's has the edge in terms of experience, at least in the starters. They have 4 senior starters and 1 sophomore, whereas you look at Fairfield, although they played well. Megan Light, a sophomore, Shireen Isadora, a freshman, and I know by the end of the season, right, freshmen or sophomores anyway, but at least St. Peter's, I think in that standpoint, has an edge in terms of tournament experience.
Well, they really do, but you also have St. Peter's who's stepping up. They want to win this conference championship because their goal really is to go to the NCAA tournament. I'm sure that's Fairfield's goal as well, but it has been openly stated by St. Peter's that that's where they want to be. But you can tell by LaWanda Green's play today, you have Mercia Ghetto really stepping up, huge presence inside, does a great job on the boards, and actually had a pretty good offensive game today. So it's going to be a battle inside as well as the guards, making sure that they control the tempo of the floor.
It really will be interesting. You have 2 of the top interior players in the league in Gail Strumpf and Mercia Ghetto. And you mentioned LaWanda Green. You certainly have 2, if you look by the records, the best coaches in the MAAC. They've both earned, 350 wins plus at Fairfield for Diane Nolan, over 500 wins at St. Peter's for Mike Grinelli. It really is a dream matchup when you put these 2 programs together for an NCAA tournament bid.
Well, you have the deans of the MAAC. You're going to be going against each other tomorrow night. It was kind of funny when they played in the regular season. Diane Nolan went over to Mike Grinelli's bench, sat down just sitting there talking to him right before the game. So it's going to be a great matchup, and you can tell a lot of mutual respect between both teams and both coaches.
Well, again, that'll be coming up tomorrow, St. Peter's and Fairfield. We still have men's basketball to come tonight here in Albany. We'll continue our coverage of the MAAC tournament in a moment. We're getting ready for Ryder and Iona men and recapping Fairfield's win over Siena with one of the stars of that game. Let's check in with Doug Sherman. Doug?
All right, thank you, Howard. We're joined by Shireen Isadora, and first of all, congratulations on making the championship. And Gail Strumpf gets the lion's share of the attention on your team, rightly so. She's the player of the year, but in that first half, a lot of people contributed. The whole team stepped up.
Yeah, well, we knew we had to come out strong and play as a team. People get hurt sometimes, and we don't always rely on Gail, but even though she's a very important person to us, but everyone contributes. We got through it.
Second half, a little more exciting than you probably would have liked. You had the lead, and Siena really came on strong.
Yeah, well, they pressed us really well. We're kind of excited and nervous at the same time, you know. So, I don't know. They just pressed us really well, but we got through it.
Well, now it's the matchup that pretty much everybody expected. Fairfield against St. Peter's. Handicap that game tomorrow for all the marbles for us.
Just got to come out strong, play good defense, run our plays well, pass the ball, swing the ball around, and come up with a win.
All right, well, thank you for stopping by. Congratulations, Shireen, and we'll see you tomorrow. As Shireen Isadora, freshman guard for the Fairfield Stags. They're on their way to the MAAC Women's Championship tomorrow night. Howard?
All right, Doug, thank you very much. We'll take a break. When we come back, getting you ready for Ryder and Iona in men's quarterfinal action as our coverage continues on the MAAC Television Network.
Welcome back to the Pepsi Arena in Albany. We are heading into the evening session for the men. The Iona Gales will take on the Ryder Bronx for the right to go into the semifinals tomorrow. And welcome back, everybody. Doug Sherman along with Glenn Consor already waiting in the semis. Siena and Niagara. Pretty good, tough draw on that side of the draw between the Purple Eagles and Saints.
It certainly is. Niagara's the type of team that could maybe pull the upset. Siena's a very strong team, the deepest team in the conference right now, but Niagara's shooting the ball very well, and they're also pounding it down inside.
Meanwhile, we saw Marcus Faison, who clearly is not 100% the star for Siena. That could cause a problem.
Although Marcus Faison really looked strong in the second half, so his knee needs probably not a problem.
Let's check out the brackets as they stand right now for the MAAC 2000 men's basketball tournament. Siena and Niagara, as we said, on the top half, and then Fairfield and Manhattan, the nightcap of this doubleheader. Ryder and Iona coming up in just a few minutes, and when we come back, we will have the complete breakdown for the Bronx and the Gales. Should be a good one. Stick around. More MAAC basketball from the Pepsi Arena in Albany. You're watching the MAAC Television Network. From the Pepsi Arena in Albany, it's our third MAAC quarterfinal of the 2000 HSBC MAAC basketball tournament. The Ryder Bronx with a record of 15-13 against the Iona Gales with a record of 17-10. And good evening, everybody. Welcome back to Albany. Doug Sherman along with Glenn Consor. And we are expecting the Gales as the number 2 seed to play like the number 2 seed, but the Bronx, as they showed yesterday in the play-in game, pretty darn good, and they can make things happen themselves.
Well, they're upset-minded, and the way they play, a slow grind you down, take that 35-second clock down to the wire, they're a very effective team in the half-court set.
Well, one player is now healthy for Ryder is Jonathan McClark. He's a real force and presence inside.
Well, Jonathan McClark's the type of guy that is going to need to have a big game, not only defensively, but on the offensive end. He's a very strong offensive rebounder, and recently he's been able to get and obtain his position inside and maintain it to be a force for Ryder inside.
Now, Glenn, on Thursday afternoon, the MAAC announced his 2000 Player of the Year, and it was a great competition, but Iona's Tariq Kirksey wound up getting it because of his versatility.
Well, he could do so many things well. He can make three-point shots. He's one of these guys that can put the ball on the floor, and he moves so well without the basketball. I've said all along he's one of the best players in the nation in making unorthodox shots, but he just adds a different dimension. He's got a great basketball mind, a very high basketball IQ. He sees things happen before it does.
All right, our keys to the game is always brought to you by Citizens Communications. We begin first for the Ryder Bronx.
Well, Ryder's going to have to really do a job in the paint. Iona has around 4 or 5 guys that they can post you up down low. They're going to have to do a job in the paint, but more importantly, really do a job limiting their turnovers. From Iona's standpoint, they're going to have to take care of the basketball and really pound the ball inside. They have a number of options. Kirksey's the guy that can really hurt you in so many different ways.
Well, the Iona Gales are the number 2 seed. They're expected to win, but it's March Madness time. You never know what's going to happen. We've got the starting lineups and the opening tip next on the MAAC Television Network.